Good afternoon, meteorologist Bob here for you with today's tropical update for Wednesday, July 27, 2011. Well, the main story today is that we have now Tropical Storm Don. Hurricane hunters went into this system late this afternoon and they found close circulation, 40 mile per hour winds, 1,001 millibar pressure. So we do have our fourth named storm of the season. And pretty ahead of schedule for 4 storms already. We're not even into August yet. So anybody keeping track to the numbers, we are ahead of that as far as normal goes. Well, anyway, here's the particulars. Now, this is the forecast track official by the National Hurricane Center. And it brings this system probably late Friday night. Officially, if you take the middle of this cone near the Corpus Christi area, and I think officially we have, I think their landfall at about 60 to 65 mile per hour winds. So they are forecasting it to be below hurricane strength at landfall. Although if you read the discussion, there's some wiggle room on that it could become a hurricane before landfall. I'll get into all the specifics on that in a minute here. But the cone of uncertainty does run from Brownsville to near Galveston, or just south of Galveston, Texas. So here's your cone here, and I'll show you in a minute here where all the models are with this cone. And basically we have a group of models to the south here of the cone, and then we have some on the north edge of the cone. And it's really going to depend on how strong this system becomes, exactly where this system will be steered. Okay, so let's get some maps going here, show you what's going on. Anyway, here's Don, visible satellite. It is now north of Cancun here. And you can see, almost looks like the center might be relocating a little farther north, and that's what they were talking about in their discussion with Don. The first discussion was that, these convective bursts that you'll see going on here, so the center may try to relocate a few times. So really going to get a hard sense of exactly where that cone and the path may change a little bit in the next 24 hours. And you might have saw maybe a little relocation just to the north here on these last few frames. You'll also see a lot of presence of dry air, especially in the mid-levels. And you can see these arc clouds that are shooting off here. Here's one here, another one coming out there. Here was another outflow arc cloud, outflow boundary up through here that came out of Don. And this shows you the dry air that's involved with this system, and it's also keeping the system rather small. That's really going to be the main hindrance with this system. There's a lot of dry air through the Western Gulf. And really, if anything that's going to deter the system from really getting big and strong, it's going to be the dry air. The shear and the shear forecasts look to be pretty favorable, marginally favorable. I mean, not perfect conditions, but not awful either. So shear's looking pretty good. Of course, we have the warm temperatures. So it's going to be, the key is going to be the dry air. Will it overcome it? That's really the unknown right now. And then looking at the water vapor loop, and here's all that dry air right here to the west of this system here. A couple features to note: upper level low here moving west, another upper level low just off the central coast of Florida. Then we have our ridge back here, and this ridge is going to be building farther south as we go through the weekend, and kind of just taking up anchoring here across Florida and across the northern Gulf Coast states. So this is where it's going to be steered. Of course, the stronger the system gets, the more it's going to be steered by this big ridge of high pressure, which means probably further south the system will go. The weaker the system gets, it'll be steered more by the low-level flow, and that's off to the northwest more here, which would bring it closer to the Galveston, Houston area. So those are really going to be the two factors right now. But this is basically the avenue where Don's going to go. Okay, again, shear currently. A little complicated pattern here, but right now it's finding that nice little sweet spot here, and that little sweet spot of 10-15 knot shear should travel with it all the way till it gets to Texas. There may be some northeasterly to easterly shear trying to get near it as Don moves, but I think it's going to kind of outrun that. So definitely the shear looks pretty favorable for development as we go towards landfall late Friday night. And where's it going? So you can really see the avenue where this thing's going to be steered. We're going to have high pressure to its north and northeast. And basically there it's going to go. The avenue right towards Texas. Again, a stronger system It's probably going to go from a little farther south. A weaker system is going to go a little farther north. So that's really what we're going to be seeing now. Do we know how strong it's going to get right at this moment? No, we really don't. I'll show you some of the model projections on that and where I think we're going to be headed with this system in a minute here. Okay, models. I'm going to show you all different runs here. Some of them are going to be the same. I'm just showing you different maps to give you different perspectives. This is from Weather Underground. Blue is the GFDL, which is keeping the system rather weak. We have the GFS, and I'll show you some of the ensemble runs there. The black is the no gaps. And then we have the HWRF, which brings it to a pretty much forecast about a 60-65 mile per hour tropical storm. Here's the BAM deep run here. And then we also, the UK Met and the Euro model are down here as well. So that's pretty much the model spread. And that's pretty much the cone of uncertainty with the National Hurricane Center right now. You see the ships, intensity brings it to 63 in 48 hours. And that's kind of right before landfall. So you almost want to factor in, could it get a little stronger during landfall, which would bring it closer to hurricane force at landfall. And the ships really maintains that light shear around 10 to 15 knots. So, you know, if all things considered, if the dry air kind of maintains itself and the shear stays about the same, that seems about right. I mean, I believe we could be pretty much I'm in forecast with the National Hurricane Center right now, 60, 65. You can't rule out a hurricane at landfall with this. You never can in the Gulf if it could fight that dry air. But seeing the dry air and everything, I'm still looking at around that 60 to 65 at landfall right now. That's my thinking currently. Okay, more models here. We'll be quick with this. This is from South Florida Water Management. And all these lines here, this is all the GFS ensemble runs. And you can see, and the GFS keeps it rather in that weak zone with the GFDL. So they're all bringing it, you know, just north of Corpus Christi more. And the GFDL, again, takes it near Galveston, Houston area with a weak system. Again, the BAM models. Here's that UK Met, the blue right there going towards Brownsville. Got the Canadian model here, yellow here. They keep a little stronger system. So showing you the spread there. Clark Evans, just another perspective. We got a few more model runs bunched in here, but you can see again, there's the spread there from north to south. Intensity models. Now this is interesting. All the intensity models are keeping this below hurricane strength right before landfall. So that tells you, and all of them do not have shear all that high. So you're thinking, well, then definitely it's going to be the dry air. So dry air is the key here to whether this system becomes a hurricane or not. And we're going to be watching that in the next 24 hours to see how it does fight that dry air. And again, that'll depend on where it's going to go. Okay, quickly, GFDL here, and you can see it's keeping a very weak system. As you can see this run here, very weak, up towards Galveston, Houston. Will it be this week? Boy, I doubt it. I very much doubt it. That's why I don't think it's really going to get as far north as the Houston-Galveston area. I don't see it really staying that weak. HWRF, this is a little more in my line of thinking here. Again, bringing it close to, what do we have at landfall here? We have about, close to 70 knots landfall, so close to a hurricane at landfall, and then bringing it pretty much near the Corpus Christi area. That's really where I'm thinking this is going right now, near the Corpus Christi area. Again, if it gets stronger, it could fall south of Corpus. If it stays a little weaker, maybe north of Corpus. So just think of Corpus Christi as our point here, and whether it's going to go north or south will depend on how strong this system gets. So I'm really thinking Corpus Christi, and then we'll play with that north or south in the next 24 hours. Again, if you're looking across the Texas coast, be prepared. You probably are already. Let's hope you are. And just, you're in that cone of uncertainty. Just be prepared. Hopefully, this doesn't get too strong, and it could really give us some much-needed rains across Texas. This really could be a godsend. Louisiana, I don't think it's coming your way. You're out of the woods with this one. This is really going to be a Texas storm right now. So, again, let's just go back to the timeline here of where it's going. Again, official forecast, National Hurricane Center, late Friday night. Again, the cone goes from near Galveston to Brownsville. I'm thinking, near Corpus Christi area. I can't really see it getting this far south in the cone. So I'm really thinking near Corpus, south or north of it, Really will depend on how strong it gets. Watch the dry air. Let's see what it does. Will that dry air really keep killing it off? Will we get convective bursts? Then they collapse, and then will we get more? We'll have to really watch that in the next 24 hours to really see if the system gets going or not. And then we'll really pinpoint exactly where along the Texas coast this one will be coming into. All right, it's my update tonight. Again, if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Robert Acanfrio, Acanfrio. A lot of times I shoot little quick updates when I can't do video updates, so good place to follow me there. And I should have another video update again for you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good night.